Alright, Jack Trade here, and I'm going to talk about Panic at the Disco today, and one of their more controversial songs, which is surprising saying the least, that this would be one of the ones that really gets people. And that is When the Day Met the Night. So I'm going to sing the first verse here. Don't catch me, I understand, I might not be the greatest singer in the world, so don't, badger me about it, but just to get you an idea of what it sounds like. When the moon fell in love with the sun, all was golden in the sky. All was golden when the day met the night. When the sun found the moon, she was drinking tea in a garden under the green umbrella trees in the middle of summer. When the moon found the sun, he looked like he was barely hanging on, but her eyes saved his life in the middle of summer. In the middle of summer, all was golden in the sky. All was golden when the day met the night. So that's the melody and the sound of the music, and it's actually a really fun song to sing and listen to alone. I mean, it's got an upbeat tempo. It starts off like you hear this really cool guitar sound coming from the background, and it kind of, there's a lot of violin to it, and it's really good to listen to, and I do recommend. This is one of my favorite songs, which is why I found it odd that it would be controversial. Honestly, it's a great song, you guys. Do check it out. But the thing that got people was more so the ending. For those of you that don't own the song or even know what Panic at the Disco is, or what it's like, is, well, at the end of the song, it goes, summer, 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 in the middle of summer, summer, and it goes on and on, and then all of a sudden as it fades out, it's like, in the middle of, wow, and it plays out, and then you hear what a lot of people at first thought was the sounds of birds chirping, like seagulls or something. But if you turn it really high up, which I don't recommend doing, first of all, because it's really loud and painful, or you take you stretch out the sound and cut it up, I guess what it is actually is a little girl screaming, "Help, no, stop, don't touch me." Which is, that's incredibly controversial, obviously, about a kid getting kidnapped. And then, it brings new meaning to the lyrics in its own, which really freaks me out, because at first I was like, oh, this song's great. It's about a guy who loves his girlfriend, and, it's saying how he fell in love in summer, and da-da. Then you go back and you read it knowing that it's a child screaming to be saved, and all of a sudden it's when the moon fell in love with the sun, all was golden in the sky, and all was golden when the day met the night. Now, originally, when I listen to this song, I tend to think of all songs grammatically rather than poetically. Grammatically speaking, when the sun found the moon, okay, the statement starts off when the sun, so the sun would be whoever this is, found the moon. She was drinking tea in a garden. Now, grammatically speaking, when the sun found the moon, since there's no period there, she was drinking tea in the garden. That would be a comma, so it would imply that the sun is the male because the moon is drinking tea in the garden, who is being used for a pronoun of she. So that being said, whereas we have now established that it is a female moon, and which makes sense because, moons, You know what I'm saying? Like, moon over. No, but in all seriousness, that would make sense. And oftentimes, Luna is, which is moon in, I believe, Latin or something like that. Lunar is Latin, I think. It depicts a woman generally in folklore. So that would make sense. She was drinking tea in a garden under the green umbrella trees in the middle of summer. Okay, so now we've painted a picture grammatically. However, if you go back and think of it both as poetically and under the idea that this is a song about a child getting kidnapped, let's go back poetically. When the sun found the moon, period, because it's the end of the statement, end of the verse, not end of the verse, but end of the stanza and end of the measure, period. She was drinking tea in the garden, so now we've established that the sun is the girl and the moon is a darker figure. She was drinking tea in a garden under the green umbrella trees in the middle of summer. So now, if we take it poetically and under the idea that it is a little kid and a girl nonetheless, you can hear it in the voice, we've established that she was drinking tea in a garden. So you can imagine the idea here is that there was a kid, she was playing Tea Party under the green umbrella trees, which would be usually a willow tree. You can often find them in suburban areas, more often at parks. So there was a little girl who essentially was found at the park drinking tea in a garden under the green umbrella trees in the middle of summer. That brings us to verse 2, which is, when the moon found the sun, he looked like he was barely hanging on, but her eyes saved his life in the middle of summer. Okay, now let's take this once again. Grammatically, this song is romantic. Wicked romantic. If you take it grammatically, you take the lyrics, you take anything about this song, it is the most romantic song I've ever heard. And I mean that wholeheartedly. Grammatically, this song would state, when the moon, the man, the girl in this case, but when the moon found the sun, so when the girl found the boy, he looked like he was barely hanging on, comma, he looked like he was barely hanging on, but her eyes saved his life in the summer. So now we've established grammatically this is saying that she found him, she thought he was rough looking, but she knew that it would work out. Now we take this poetically once again and from the same standpoint, and now it's when the moon, when he found the sun, the girl, he looked like he was barely hanging on. He was a creeper. I don't know how to say it better than that. But her eyes saved his life. Like, he looked into her eyes and he knew, like, he had to take her in the middle of the summer. This is creepy, and I see why it's controversial. And I totally agree. If you're looking at it from this point of view, I mean, most songs have to be interpreted different ways, and I can see both sides, like how one sees it as a very romantic song, and then the other one takes it as this very over-the-top, melodramatic, almost devious song. And it really does. But this is where my opinion is that it's a happier song, and not, I think it's birds chirping still, like, maybe I'm in denial or something, but is the second verse. So once again, I'm going to sing it for you guys first so you get an idea. So he said, would it be alright if we just sat and talked for a little while? If in exchange for your time, I give you this smile. So she said, that's okay, as long as you can make a promise not to break my little heart or leave me all alone in the summer. Well, he was just hanging around, then he fell in love, and he didn't know how, but he couldn't get out. Just hanging around, then he fell in love. In the middle of summer, all was golden in the sky, all was golden when the day met the night. Alright, so now that we got that out of the way, this is the part that gets me. Is I don't think that it's that tight, because it's not so much the third verse rather than the fourth verse that really makes me think that it's not meant to be a creepy song. And that's the third verse. First of all, you can take it either way again, is so he said, would it be alright if we just sat and talked for a little while? If in exchange for your time, I give you this smile. Which can be interpreted both creepy and, kind of poetically good, I guess. Like, on a brighter note, he's saying, he does this cheesy pickup line on the girl. On the other one, he's, doing a creepy pickup line on a little girl, which both, either way, it's really creepy. But then this is the part that gets me. Maybe I'm not reading too much into it, but so she said, that's okay, as long as you can make a promise not to break my little heart or leave me all alone in the summer. Now, the only part about this that really makes me think that it could possibly be still a little girl is as long as you can make a promise not to break my little heart or leave little heart. That kind of makes me go, okay, maybe, but it could just be that he's a big guy, like, without a problem. I don't think that. Plus, if it's a little girl, she's asking him not to leave her alone, which means that she obviously either knows this person or is stray anyways and needs help. So that line doesn't get me. I mean, the other ones I can totally see, but this one kind of steers me away from it. Makes me think that people are overlooking that last sound quality. But yeah, it is a pretty creepy song. I mean, even if you don't, if you can find other things about that lyric that make it even creepier. But all in all, I look at it as a positive, love, romantic summer song. Like, I don't know, maybe I just don't want to see the bad in the world, but I mean, I do see it as such. And honestly, I don't know. Like, I love music. It's one of the things I chose to do reviews on anyways. I mean, if you guys haven't noticed, I do one review a day, 1 or 2 reviews every night. Sometimes they're 1 or 2 parts or 4 parts for Iron Man, but yeah, I obviously, I love music and whatnot, but this song just, for whatever reason, people do find it creepy in general, and it's by Panic at the Disco, so I wouldn't put too much past them, because, I mean, they're the people who had a mime having sex with air just because, it was funny looking, and it didn't really go with the music whatsoever, but, it did, it eventually, did go into it, but it's like, for those of you guys that don't know what I'm talking about, don't check it out. It's kind of creepy. I don't know how to explain it better than that. Like, it's really creepy. But yeah, no. I mean, Panic at the Disco. They do a lot of controversial stuff, anyways, which is why I thought it was weird that this was one of the more controversial ones. Like, it's all creepy because there's one line at the very end. Most people don't even listen to that part because they don't get through it. They switch to the next song because they know there's just a bunch of birds coming up. But apparently it was such a popular song, people eventually heard that part and they were like, wait a second, is that a little girl? Like, but that being said, I mean, like, there's so many other ones. Like, they sing, 'cause it's night in the afternoon. Night in the afternoon, which, if you guys don't know what song that is, it starts off, it's like, back to a place we used to stay, or something like that, and it's about orgasm. Like, the whole song is about having sex. But and if you don't believe me, just, I might, if anyone doesn't believe me, post about it, and then, like, I will have a comeback as to why it's about, and I will depict it in depth, but I'm not going to be going on about it right now. But yeah, this song, I thought it was weird that it was one of the more controversial ones, since it is one of the only ones that, does have that meaning of, not being controversial. But like I said, guys, I'm one of those people, I'm going to look at both sides of it. I won't tell you just my opinion. I'll tell you what you can take from it and listen to it yourself. Make your own decision. Like, how do they sing it? I tried to do my best quality work for them. Clearly, I'm not the greatest singer in the world, but I don't know what to say better than check it out, because in my opinion, it's a good song. If you don't like my opinion, don't check it out, because clearly you're not going to like it. But if you don't like my opinion, why are you watching this to begin with? But no, seriously, keep watching. But as a matter of fact, subscribe. But I don't know. But yeah, no, just check it out. Make your own decision. I hope you guys liked it. This is my first music review, so Jack Trade out.